Hi and welcome to the Beginners to Advanced Guide to Learning Practical Web GIS, Web Design and Development course. So basically in this course I will try to show you all of this course roadmap, and I already uploaded HTML part 1 classes. Okay, so today I will try to start the second class on HTML. So basically HTML we will discuss today. I will discuss about the table, then I will also discuss about the input, and we can also use how to make a from. Okay, as well as we also discuss about the frame, different types of frame. Okay, so basically in this course we will open my web browser. You can see here. So in this course you can see here, today I will try to show you how you can easily make this like of this from using the HTML. Okay, and then how you can easily make this like this table, and how you can easily make different types of iframe and showing your own website or PDF file or image or anything. Okay, what you want to need. So let's go to our main class. So basically first of all I opened a HTML file. So I simply click to text document, and first of all I will try to discuss how you can easily make a table using the HTML. So you can easily, first of all I gave this name table, and you can also need to change this extension. I gave this extension is HTML and press the enter. Then I will simply click to yes. So now you can see it will be automatically change this extension. Now it will be just like a web browser. You can see here default web browser, it will be added here. So now I will open this HTML file in my web browser. So I simply click to here and open with my Chrome browser. Okay, so I simply click to here. You can see a new tab will be opened here. Okay, and I also open this table HTML file, open with my code editor brackets. Okay, just open it. So now you can see this table.html will be opened here, and this is my also browser site. Okay, so now I write some code in my code editor and get this output in this web browser window. Okay, so basically, so first of all you need to make a HTML common structure. You can easily make this. This is the HTML. Then you need to make a head section. So I make a head section, and I gap a title here into this head section. So I use here the title and gap this title name is table. Okay, and when I save this code, you can simply save this code, click to file and save, or simply you can press the Ctrl and S in your keyboard. So I save it, and when I click to run, you can check this title will be changed. Now it will be table. Okay, you can see here this is our table. Okay, so now I want to add a body section here. So I simply use a body tag. Then I want to make here the table. So basically when you work with table, you need to use the common 4 tags. Number 1, table tag, then use the ts tag, it means table header, and then you can use here the table tr tag, it means table row, and td tag, it means table data. So basically you can see here, this is my previous table. You can see here, basically you can see here, this is my table, and every table has a row. Okay, this is the one row, this is the second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. Okay, and also have some column. Okay, 1 2 3 4. Yeah, so now we can say that every table has a column and every table has a row. Okay, and under this row you can put your data and your table header. You can see this is the first row. Here I included my table header. So basically when I make this, here I use the TS tag, and other, you can see here, this is the table data. So for this, here I use the TD tag. Okay, so now I will make this code, make this table like this. So you can see here, first of all we need to make our table header. So first of all you need to take a table tag. So I simply take this table tag, and now I want to make here the table row. Then I gave this the table header. So I need a table row. So for this I use here the tr tag. Tr means table row, and between this table row I input my table header. Okay, so I simply use here the ts tag. It is my table header. So now you can see here, this is my table header. So first table header is the name, then course name, then course price, then mobile number. Okay, so just I simply use here the sum of this name. First table header name is name, then I simply copy this and change here this, then course name, I also copy this. Now it will be course price, then mobile number. Okay, so now in this case I make a row, tr means table row, and input my table header. Okay, I just simply control and press the S in my keyboard and save it, and when I reload in this browser, you can see it will be opened here. Okay, name, course price, mobile number, and other. Okay, so now I make a table row and using the tr code, and make this table header using this ts tag. Okay, and in this table I make here the total 4 header. Okay, so now I simply put here the table data. So when you use the table data, you must need to make a table row, then input this table data. So you can simply make a table row using the tr tag. So now you use here the td tag, because now I want to add here my table data. So here you can use the accordingly this header. So first header is the name, so you need to use here the first table data will be name. So I put this name here. Suppose this name will be, I gave this name is Jamal. Okay, and second course header, you can see this is the course name. Okay, so here I use the course name data. So here I use this course name is GE. Okay, and then you can see here the course price. I gave this, you can see third table header is course price, so that I use here the third table data will be course price. I simply use this course price is $60. Okay, so then mobile number, I gave this randomly a mobile number here. Okay, so now you can put a one table row and put this one table row data. Okay, I simply save this, and when I click to run, you can get this will be added with my row. And if you want to add another table data, you can simply copy this data and paste here. Okay, I also paste here again, and I also paste here. Now we can simply change this name. Suppose this name is Minhaj and this course name is GIS, and I also change here this dollar is $50, and I change this mobile number is that. Okay, I gave this randomly a mobile number. Then I also change here this another data. Suppose this data is name is Rupa, and I change this name. I change this course is basic Python. Okay, and this price I randomly I choose a price. This price is 80. Okay, then same number I will be used here. So if you want, you can change it, and randomly you can get this number. Okay, so then you can also change this here. Suppose this name is Mijan, and all of the vaccine. Okay, so now you can easily change your data in here. I simply save this and click run. You can see every data will be added in my table, but it's not look like this table because you need to add here some border. Okay, so you can simply use it a border. Suppose you can, after this table, this is my first table, you can add a attribute here. Suppose when you use the border, you can simply use here the border attribute, and this border will be 2 pixel. Okay, when I click run, you can see now it looks like a table. Okay, so now if you want to use here the spacing, here you can see this is the cell, every cell. If you want to increase this spacing, just you can use here the cell, another attribute, cell spacing. Okay, and I gave this cell spacing is 10 pixel. You can see it will be increasing our every cell. Okay, so I decrease it 5 pixel. Click run. Okay, so now if you want to use here the cell padding, so you can use the cell padding. I gave this cell padding will be also 5 pixel. When I save and when I click run, you can see it will be also increased. Okay, so now you can see this is my common table structure. We can easily make this common table structure using this table tag, then make the table row, and first tag you can see this is our header. Okay, so that here I use the TS tag because it is the table header. Okay, and all of these are the table data, so I use here the TD tag. Okay, and make this every row. So now if you want to make this colorful of this your table data, so you can simply use here the BG color. I gave this here, this BG color will be pink. Okay, when I click to run, you can see it will be color will be pink color. Okay, so if you want, you can use the total background color of your table. Just you can use here the table, you can add a new attribute. Suppose this attribute name is, you can use here the BG color because you want to use here the change the background, add the background color. So I use here the background color BG color, then use here this color is, I gave this color is blue. Okay, so when I click run, you can see it will be blue color. Okay, so if you want, you can use the any column. Suppose I want to change this specific column color, course name. So just you find this course name and use here the BG color attribute and add this name is your BG color name. Suppose I use here the yellow. So when I save it and click to run, you can see it will be yellow. Okay, so this is the common structure, and if you can easily everything change from here. Okay, so this is our common structure. Okay, So now I will discuss about the row span and column span. So previously table, you can see here, this is a student information heading. Okay, this is our heading. So now I want to add this heading in this table. How we can easily do it? So for this I need to add another table header. So I need to make a row. First of all, I need to make a row, then make a table header. So I use here the tier tag for making a table row. Then I use here the table header and give this table header name is student information. Okay, I gave this randomly name student information. When I save and click run, you can see this is our heading, but it take a one column space. Okay, it take a only one column, but I want to use this cell for the whole column. Here you can see this, there is a total 4 column. I want to use, actually I like to make this like this. Okay, so you can easily make this using the column span attribute. So for this you need to use here in your table header, I use here the call span. I use here the call span, and here you can see there are the total 4 column, 1 2 3 4. So for this I use here the 4 because I want to need this head student information will be placed in the total 4 column. So okay, so I use here the 4. So when I save it and click to run, you can see it will be take the total 4 column, and it's called the call span. Okay, so now if you want to use this another color for your table header, so you can simply change it. You can use here your tier or tier tag. You can use here the BG color. I gave this BG color is, I gave this name is BG color name is pink. When I save and click to run, you can see it will be automatically changed. Now it will be changed here. Okay, so this is the here I use the column call span. You can see column span. So how many column you want to show in your take this row? So simply here I use the 4 column. So I use here the 4. Okay, so this is the column span. So now if you want to use the row span, this is the same way. Suppose I want to add a row. You can see previously table, I want to add a row like this in my here. So you can simply use this. So I take this in the my here. Suppose I want to make here another row, and I get here this table data. Suppose this table data is that I use here the all student. Okay, when I save and click run, you can see here a new cell will be added here, but I want to use this cell for all of this row. Okay, so here you can see how many row will be available here. There are total 1 2 3 4 5 6. So now I want to use here the row span and use here the number of 6. So I take this attribute here row span and use here the number of row is 6. Okay, when I save it and click to run, you can see it will be added here. Okay, and you can also see this is the student information, and it will be increasing 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, but here you can see previously I use here the 4. When I change it 5 column and save it, when I click to reload my web page, you can see now it will be perfect. Okay, so now you can easily using the call span and row span and use the any kind of table design. Okay, so you can easily make everything using this call span and row span attribute. Okay, just you need to know how many column you want to show this, how many row you want to show this, your single cell. Okay, So you can easily do it. So this is our first introduction with the table, how you can easily make a table using your HTML. So then I will move to the from. So for this I will make another HTML file. So for this I use here this the text document, and I use here this the form, and also change here this the extension is that HTML, and simply click to yes. Now it will be moved to our web browser. I open this web browser in my Chrome. Okay, so now you can see this will be added here, this the from HTML. Okay, so now I want to open it my code editor with brackets. So now you can see a new code editor will be opened here, and now I want to make here this the common HTML boilerplate. So I use here the HTML, then I also use here this the head section, then I put here this the title in the head section, and I gave this title name is the making form. Okay, and I also make here this is the body section. So now when I save it and reload my page, you can see it will be changed. This table this title will be changed. Okay, when I click to reload, you can see now it will be making form. So now I will try to make a form using the HTML. So basically in this case, when we will make a form, we can use here the from tag and input tag. Okay, you remember that from tag and input tag. Here you can see this is our form. Okay, so in this form here you can see our form has some title, first name, last name, mobile number. So for this you can use here this a tag sorry, you can use the tag. Suppose this tag name is level, because I want to make here the text, and under this label tag I used here the first name. Okay, this is the first name. You can see I will as a first name, and then when I save this code and open it in my browser, you can see first name will be added. So now you want to add here the input cell or input blank gapping cell. So for this you use here the input tag, and you can also define here the type of your first name. So basically this first name as a text, so I use here the text. This type will be text. So I save it and click to run. You can see it will be added here. Okay, so now I add here the first name. I also add here the last name. So I simply copy this, okay, and paste here, and use here the last name and save it. When I click to run, you can see it will be added here, but it will be not perfect with that. I want to increase it. You can see it will be beside with this here, but I want to need this last name will be at after first name, second, last name. Okay, so now I simply use here the br tag. Br tag means the bracket tag, so I simply use here the br tag and simply save and click to run. You can see now it will be below the first name. Okay, and when I use the another br tag, it will be also below. Okay, so now you can see it will be also below. This is my first name, this is my last name. Okay, then I also use here my email. So I take the label for writing this email. Okay, I save it. When you click, you can see email will be added here. I want to show this email will be added below the last name, so I use here the br tag. I use the double BR tag because I want to need the 2 BR spacing, so I use the 2 BR tag, and when I save it, you can see email will be added below the last name. So now I want to use here the input tag, input, and then I also type, and this type will be email, so I use here the email. Okay, and when I save it and click to refresh, you can see email will be added here. Okay, so now if you want to add here the some password, so I use here the another label. Suppose this another label name is, I gave this new name password, and I also use here, this is the input tag, and gave this input type will be password, and when I save it and click run, you can see password will be added here, but I want to need this password will be added below the email, so I use here the bracket tag, double bracket tag I use here. Okay, so I simply click to refresh, you can see it will be added here. Okay, so now if you want to add some the point you want to select, suppose you want to select the male or female this type data, so you can take the another label. I use here the label, suppose this label is gender. Okay, and I use here this gender, I simply use here this is input, and gap this type will be radio, and simply use here the number 1 male. Okay, then I use here the male, I simply copy this, Ctrl D, and change it female. Okay, female. When I save it and click run, you can see there will be added with the gender male and female. So now I want to use here the bracket tag because I want to need this here the below the password, so I use the bracket tag. I use here the double bracket tag. Okay, I simply save and click run, you can see here it will be added here, and I also use here this is the also bracket tag. When I save it and reload it, you can see sender will be added, but I want to simply remove this because I want to and I want to not use any gap between the gender and male and female. I save and click to reload, now it will be perfect. I will use here the semicolon because it looks like beautiful when I use it. Okay, so now you can see it will be male or female, you can easily select any here. So now second portion, I use also here the BR tag. So now you want to add some select option in your here. Suppose I want to use here the some select option. Suppose I use here the skill. I want to add some different types of skill. So I use take the another level and give here the skills. Okay. Okay. So now I want to add some skills using the drop down menu. So for this you use here this is the select function, and use here the a option, then you can simply put this option name. Suppose this skill will be needed HTML, then also need the CSS, then also need the JavaScript. Okay, then also need the Python. Okay, I simply save it, and I also defined here the option value. So for this I use here the value attribute, and simply use here this is the same name Python. I simply copy and paste here, then JavaScript I copy and add a attribute, this attribute name is value, and paste here, and also CSS this is the same way. I use here this is the value and use here the CSS, and also do the same way for the HTML. I use here the value and use here the HTML. Okay, so now when I click to save and click to reload, you can see a drop down menu will be added here. When I click to here, you can see every HTML, CSS, JavaScript will be added here. Okay, so when I use the JavaScript skill, you can simply select this. If you have skin in your HTML, you can simply select to HTML. Okay, so this is the way for you can easily use the different types of skill. Okay, so now if you want to add the another way using the checkbox tag, so for this you need to use here the another tag. This tag name is checkbox. So if you want to, you can easily do add. Suppose I want to take the another tag, this tag before I use here the bracket tag. So now I want to use here the another level. Suppose this another level is your hobby. Okay, I get this randomly use here the hobby. So and I also put here this is using the checkbox. So for this you need to use here the another, you use here the first of all input, then you need to use here this type. Suppose now this type will be checkbox. Okay, suppose checkbox, then you define your hobby. Suppose your hobby is gardening, or your hobby will be teaching. You can just randomly I use this parameter. Okay, so then I use the programming. Okay, so this is the simple way. I save and click to run. Now you can see here your hobby is the gardening, and it will be use here the checkbox. You can easily check in your anything what you need. Okay, so now we can check how we can easily add the your checkbox parameter using the HTML. So now you want to finally you need to submit this form or reset this form if you wrong this form. Okay, so now I will use here a button, how using the submit button or reset button. Okay, so you can simply use it. I use here the bracket tag before using do this. So now I simply use here the input tag, and I use here the type. Suppose in this type I add here the submit. When I click to run and reload my save and click to run in my browser, you can see submit button will be added here. Okay, and I also use here the reset button. I simply use here the input tag, then use here the type. This type name is reset. Okay, when I save it and click to run, you can see there are the two button will be added in my below of this form. Okay, submit button and reset button. So now you want to easily make this form. As suppose I want to use this first name is Mijanur, last name is Rahman, email I randomly put this email here. Okay, and I also type here the password easily. I select my gender, I use my skill. Okay, I use my submit my check my hobby and submit, it will be submitted. Okay, when I click to reset, it will be reset. Okay, so now you can easily make this form and everything you can do. Okay, so this is our full structure. So how you can easily make a form using this. So now if you want, we will go our next class. This class is the iframe. So basically we will use the iframe for using this here. Suppose you want to add your website in your browser, in your own browser, other website, then we will use the iframe. If you want to add here the PDF file or anything you want to add in your own web page, okay, from the other site, so you can simply do it. So for this I also take here the another file and give this file name is iframe. and also change here the extension is that HTML and save it. So now I open this iframe HTML tab in my browser. Okay, so now it will be opened, and I also open it my brackets code editor. So I simply open this, you can see it will be opened here. So now I want to, first of all, you need to add here the basic HTML boilerplate. You can add here HTML, then you need to use here the two section. First section is the head, and I also include here the head title name is that I use here the iframe. Okay, and I also use here this the another section. This section is body. Okay, I simply save it, and I also reload my this web page. When you can see it will be iframe. Okay, change this title name. So now I want to use here the iframe button for visit another website. You can simply use here the iframe. This is my iframe. Then you need to use here the src attribute and define your website address. I use here the https. This is my website name, www.mijangisrs.com. This is my website name. When I save it and reload my browser, you can see it will be added in my browser, but it will be looks very small. So I want to increase this, so I simply use here the another attribute. Suppose I use here the white attribute, it will be 100%. So now it will be take the place this the total white of this web page. Reload, you can see it will be total place, you can see now. And if you want to, you can increase this height using the height attribute. I use here the another attribute is height, and gap this height is the 500 pixel. Okay, when I click to run, you can see it will take this place. Okay, so now you can add here your own website using the iframe. Okay, so you can easily do this. You can add your own website using this. Okay, so now if you want to add a PDF file, okay, in your website using the browser, so first of all you need to add your, you can simply make a folder in your directory. I make this folder is the PDF, and I just simply this PDF file I will paste here. Okay, I paste this file here, so I simply copy this and paste here. Okay, so now if you want to simply go your code editor, and I also take here the horizontal tag because I want to add here the some horizontally line. Okay, so when I save it and open my browser, you can see now, you can see here some horizontal 3 line will be added here. Okay, because I use here the 3 horizontal tag. So now I want to add here the my PDF file using the iframe. So I first of all I take the iframe tag, and then I also define here the src. Okay, and then I use here go to my file directory PDF, and simply I use here this my file. Okay, I simply save it, and when I reload this, you can see a PDF will be added here, but it will be very small. So now if you want to increase this height and width easily using this attribute, I use here the width is that 100% and height it 100%, and height will be 500 pixel. When I save it and reload my web page, you can see it will be added here. Okay, so now you can easily access this PDF file and read your PDF file. Okay, it will be very easily you can do this. So now if you want to add any image or using the iframe, you can easily do it. So first of all, I will use, suppose I want to add this web image in my website using the iframe. I simply copy this and paste here. Okay, so now it is the same way. You can go your code editor and simply use here, this is the iframe tag, then use here the src tag, then you can go your folder destination PDF, then select your image. Here you can see png studyx png. I simply select and save it, and now I open my web browser and reload it. You can see a image will be added here, but it will be very small and there is the no gap between this PDF and image. So if you want, you can simply use here the horizontal tag, because I want to use here the 3 line of horizontal, and I also increase here my height. I gave this height is 500 pixel, and I also increase the weight is the 500 pixel. And when I save and click and refresh my web browser, you can see now it will be looks like this. Okay, so it very easy. So if you want, you can add the any YouTube video in your website. You can simply do it. Just you use here the your, suppose I use here the another 3 SR tag, because I want to add here the 3 horizontal line. Then I use here the iframe. Okay, then I use here the src tag, and then I want to simply use my YouTube video link here, because I simply copy a video link from my channel, so it will be opened. You can see here I simply opened a video. Suppose I want to show this video, I simply copy this link of this video and paste in my code editor under this iframe src. When I save it and refresh my web page, you can see here it will be added here. Okay, so it will be not added here because I think YouTube is not permit to use the iframe, so that's why it will be request the refuse to connect. So you can easily add this using the HTML. Okay, so today is no more. So if you have any question regarding this tutorial, you can ask me in comment section, and next time we will go to the our more another section. You can see here the HTML, then CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, open layers. Okay, so you can practice more and more so that you can easily understand everything. Okay, so today is no more. Okay, take care, bye.